Hey look, it's Dippy's decree that's not about fucking Avengers. There's like 4 in a row of these shits. To be fair, one was a 3-parter, because I rambled for like a fucking hour. And I gotta like cut back to keep these things optimal for things. Did I just put a fucking Beast Wars Optimus Primal? I did. I just fucking bit. Hey, you can see the wrinkles in my shirt. Maybe my camera's not so bad after all. I just binge watched all of season 3 of Stranger Things. Not to hurry up and rush this video out, but because I have no life. I was gonna stream because I got off of work early for 4th of July, and then I just didn't. I just watched Stranger Things. And then took a nap and watched more Stranger Things, and there's only 8 episodes, and now they're gone. Did you like my new lighting? I put the light on the sides, because that helps green screening. So why is it? But I liked it. It was, hey, look at me actually. Get back on track! Why is the camera? Anyway, the show's been consistently good for like all 3 seasons. There's a fucking... Don't slap the desk so much, you're using a microphone now. But yeah, I mean, season 1 and 2 were good, and I didn't really notice a dip in quality, and season 3 was pretty great too. I liked it. Netflix is probably gonna cancel it. Fuckers. But yeah, I mean, it starts off with a funny little dynamic between Hop and Elle, who's like, well, I think she was already his daughter by season 2, but she's his daughter in season 3, because why would that change? But she and Mike are getting really close and kissing a lot, and it's gross and I don't want to see that. And neither does Hop! And so he's like worried about setting up boundaries and things, and it's funny because he's all awkward and angry and doesn't know how to be a dad. But I guess it's because he lost his daughter a long time ago. So that's good writing, actually. Wait, no, I lied. Did I? I think the season actually starts with the Russians. Yeah, because it cuts in, or the letters fade. Whatever they do to open the show, you see like a generator thing doing stuff, and it shoots a laser beam at a wall, and it's pretty obvious what they're doing. They're trying to reopen the rift, and it fails, and like turns a bunch of people into meat paste. Did I mention this season's fucking gorier than all the others combined? There's only 2 others. But it's more gory than them. And like, well, it meat pastes the science staff around it because it fails. So then a giant Russian Arnold Schwarzenegger man kills the head scientist and tells another one, like, you have a year, comrade, to fix this. Except he doesn't. Cheeky breaky, Evdanke! And then the camera, like, well, some fucking Russian anthem or music starts playing to make it really obvious. Bear in mind, they've already been talking in Russian. They didn't say any of that shit I just said. And then, like, the shot is, like, zooming out of a mountainous, snowy region to really drive home where they are. And then a fucking Russian flag is just sitting right there at the end of the whole shot. It's like, hey, I think they're in Russia. Maybe. Did I mention there's spoilers? This season has a cool monster thing going too, because the first season had the Demogorgon, and then the second season had the Demo Dogs. Demo Man is spy! And now this one has a meat paste monster. That's right, more meat paste everywhere. RoboCop would be happy, because that's what he lives on. So basically, it's the Shadow Man from I watched this show, the Upside Down. He's kind of back, because a piece of him was still around after the end of season 2. Like, you see that little cloud wispy thing kind of die off after they closed the portal. But the Russians fucking tampered with it and sort of cracked it open a little bit, which allowed Shadow to control things, so he starts like making rats eat fertilizer and stuff. I guess to get the right chemical components to make him a body. And he gets people to do it too eventually, at least one crazy lady. Then he gathers them to like this warehouse, and once they get there, they just convulse and turn into meat paste and just meld together into him. And after a while, he gets enough people and rats and things and looks like a giant meaty version of the shadowy thing from the Upside Down. It's so gross. I mean, at one point in the climax of the show, he gathers a bunch of people he's possessed because he starts like branching out and possessing more people, including Billy, who he doesn't meat paste him, but he gathers everybody together when Billy's like, it's time. And the Autobots roll out and get meat pasted and turn into spider meat. And then it attacks the kids. And that's pretty much it. Like, that's the monster. That's the thing they have to fight. Except some of them, like Dustin and kid with hair, Herrick, and a new girl named Robin show up. And they kind of get captured by Russians and have to deal with that. Because they Dustin intercepts a transmission while trying to talk to his long-distance girlfriend. And then the new girl, Robin, like breaks the code. It said, cheeky, breaky. And then meanwhile, basically everybody else is like dealing with the monsters. The kids, anyway. Hopper and Mrs. Byers, they end up dealing with the Russians too, and dealing with the giant Terminator man who beats the fuck out of Hopper the first time they meet, because magnets and shit are dying, so Mrs. Byers is like, hey, something's going on, we gotta investigate things. So that's how they end up running into Russians. And there's a nice plot twist where Robin, you think she's gonna hook up with Eric, but she's like, you wouldn't like me. He's like, why not? And then eventually it's revealed because she's gay. So, I mean, no love interest for Herrick. Is Eric even his name? Then it kind of all culminates into a plan where Dustin and I think his name is Lucas, the one with like this sociopathic little sister who like fucking hates him and wants him dead. She and Dustin. Did I watch this? I watched this show. I swear. They end up back down in Russian base, which is actually in a mall because the Russians had to come to America to open the portal because that's where it had recently been closed. So it was better. It was a better success rate. And oh yeah, they had a Russian friend that they kind of kidnapped somehow. And he was helping Hopper, Miss Byer, and that one paranoid dude that lives in a bunker. He was helping them kind of like figure out how to stop everything too. So then they kind of team up with Dustin and Lucas's sister. Probably gonna put a fucking mother reference in there. I don't even have the name right. But they kind of help each other and coordinate where to go to turn the machines off. Meanwhile, Meat Paste Monster is fighting Elle and the kids, and it's cool because they're like throwing fireworks and shit at him. And at one point, he had Elle infected, the meat spider, because it bit her in the leg with a tendril thingy, and she had to like, they had to kind of cut it out. She used like telekinesis to throw it away. And then when she did that, Hopper like shows up and stomps on the little thingy, and then they all kind of have a brief reunion before they split back off to do the fighting. I remember the sequence of this show, right, because the Meat Paste Monster showed up at the mall after Hopper and them left to go back to the Russian base under the mall. You gotta keep this shit short, so sorry if it sucks. So then Hopper ends up fighting Terminator Russian Man again, who even like sounds like Arnold with his accent. It's Russian though, but they're fighting and somehow Hopper gets the upper hand. The Hopper hand. And throws him into the reactor thing that's been punching a hole through the portal thing. But problem, it splits a shield, it makes lightning shoot, and he can't get back to the control room with Mrs. Byers, because the two of them needed to turn the machine off, but she does this cool trick where she like puts her belt on one of the keys, and then grabs the other one and reaches, so she can like pull them both like a nuclear bomb to turn it off for odd. But she's turning this one off, and it's not. I knew I was too fucking lucky. I was just rambling about bombs. What's on my keyboard? Hey, Cortana. Tell me a cat joke.
Want to hear a little cat joke? I don't know any little cat jokes. Just kidding.
Did you get that? I hope not. Where did I leave off? So, right, Mrs. Byers was turning the thing off, and Hopper got stuck on, like, the other side of an electron field thingy coming out of the generator. Because he was originally going to help get the other key until Russian Terminator said, "Put that switch down!" And they fought near the generator. Then there's a moment where he's standing there kind of crying, and I think he, like, nods, and then she turns the switches and blows the reactor thing to close the portal, and everybody in the room gets meat pasted. You don't see him, though. That's important for in a little bit. It's important. And Billy shows up at the mall after beating the fuck out of the little kids. Like, damn, he's all possessed by the Mind Flayer, they were calling him. The shadow thingy. Shadow! There was a moment earlier in the show where Elle, like, kind of jumps into his mind to try and reach him, and kind of, like, looks into his past and stuff, and she sort of reaches him again when he's about to feed her to the Mind Flayer, and fucking, he kind of turns back. But this was right after a cool fireworks battle with the Mind Flayer in the mall, because the kids found a bunch of fireworks in, like, a grocery area, and Elle, by this point in the show, had, like, used up her telekinesis, because she used it a fuck ton. She split the Mind Flayer's head open the first time they run into it at Hopper's cabin a while before, and then that kind of, like, drained her, because she kept fucking using it to fight things, including, like, some Mind Flayer infected people and whatnot. Yeah, because there's a moment where two of them, Nancy is working for some sexist jerks, they end up getting possessed, because of course they do, and then they end up getting fucking murdered somehow. I think they're all connected, so hitting one of them made another one kind of get hurt, which let Nancy and Mike's older Mike brother man, they let them kill them, and then they turned into meat paste and melded into a little spider monster that Elle fucked up. So anyway, that was a long aside. But yeah, she's all burnt out. Fireworks had, like, fucked up the Mind Flayer. However, Billy was still gonna, like, feed her once they were running out of fireworks. And then she's like, "Remember being Billy?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I do." And then the Mind Flayer was gonna shoot a tendril out to, like, infect her. And he stopped it. And then it shot out, like, 5 more to, like, stab him. But the funny thing is, not a single one of those went for Elle. Like, you could just launch those out. You just used them all on Billy, you spiteful prick. And then Elle, like, got away because they turned off the thingy, and it broke the portal, which broke Shadow Mind Flayer Man's control. So anything that was on the other side of the portal died. But why was there still smoke that didn't die the first time they closed it? This all happened because of the Russians just fucking reopening that portal. I guess it gave Smoke Monster enough power. Did I mention they make fun of Michigan at one point when Robin and Eric are talking about how they had to sell so much ice cream they had to get some from Michigan, as if that was a bad thing? Only Southeast Michigan sucks. You go like 30 minutes anywhere else and it sucks a little less. Go 30 minutes more and it's pretty good. You know, it still kind of sucks, but we have good fucking ice cream. I'm sorry. So in closing, I forgot to mention Hopper and Miss Byers finally, like, hit it off. Hopper died, but he left a nice note, you know, because he was trying to, like, talk to Mike and Elle, but the note ended up rambling on about how he misses the good times with her, and he has a nice message about how life hurts you sometimes, but the hurting is good because it means you're not stuck in the cave of emotionless life that he kind of had been in before he met Elle. He was a dick before he did. And the portal didn't actually, like, fully close because Paul Reiser shows up and looks really concerned because you see the floaty particulate shit and there's still kind of a crack in the wall. So there's another season for sure, but Netflix likes to cancel things after 3 a lot. And then after the credits, or actually kind of during the credits, it's like a mid-roll thing, the fucking It's not a YouTube ad. The Russians are like going through some cells back in Russia. They didn't play the music and show the flag, so I wasn't quite sure, but it was there. I figured it out. And they're going down a line of cells. They're gonna go to one to get somebody out of it, and they're like, no, not the American. And then they go to another one and get some rando, and they just fucking like throw his ass into this cage. Did I mention the other Russian they made friends with got shot by a Terminator? Okay, no, I did. They open the cage, and a fucking demo, at first it looks like a demo dog, comes out to enter the cage with this poor rando. And then it gets up, and it's like I think it's a full-on Demogorgon. It kind of looked like adolescent Groot, but with a Demogorgon head. And it just, I'm assuming it eats the guy. Don't turn my fucking power bar off, cat. So the fucking Russians are still meddling with things. Still trying to open the portal. I think that's been established since like the beginning, because L intercepted them or something when she was learning to use her powers. I don't know. But they're still at it, and they're fucking... The portal's still kind of open. I think they're probably going to try to open another portal. They probably might have, because they had a demo thing running around. So clearly there's enough of a portal somewhere for the Shadow Man to control it. And the American they have is probably Hopper, because you never actually see him die, and there were a bunch of Russians running around basically when the base was getting fucked up. So maybe he's alive. I hope. So in closing, again, it was a really good show. I liked it. I'm actually sad that I fucking watched all 8 hours. 8+ hours or whatever. Plus the recap. There's nothing. Maybe I'll go back to, what was I watching? Shit, what was... Whatever. Here's a gag, because I'm not gonna fucking bother with the Men in Black reboot. If you don't want the spoilers or remember this shit... Probably gonna go see Spider-Man in a little bit, so